Right, well, thank you for everyone coming today. We actually have good news, and we wanted to share that after such a difficult 3 weeks behind us. But we told this city, this community, our residents and our visitors that when tragedy does impact our city, and in this case we had several shootings, that we were going to catch the people, and we have. And that's the good news of the today. We have actually gotten the responsible people in custody, and the particular homicides that I want to speak to, the murders that I want to speak to, are the two tragic events. The first one being at the second line, the 9x second line. That occurred on November 17th. And if you recall, there was a double homicide that resulted from that. And thanks to our incredible homicide team, and I wanted you to see our detectives from homicide. And there are several more who are not right here in front of the camera, but these particular detectives right here, the lieutenant and his team, are the ones who day in and day out have been working these cases, and they are the responsible parties for actually getting the men and women in custody, along with our captain backs over there, our chief over the investigation division is what I'm trying to say. But Captain Bax's team is the team that literally goes out and captures these people and takes them into custody. It is a full court. It is a full partnership among all of us. And our DA and Jason Williams is going to speak in a minute. But we want to, in the good news, we still want to remind everyone that we give our condolences to families and friends who are grieving. I just had the opportunity, literally, to speak to the mother, Miss Kohler, one of the victims on the bridge. And she is grateful, and there is something about bringing closure for people. And so I want everyone to know that we do care about you and tragedy. The New Orleans Police Department is amazing. And as the sheriff, who is our partner, Sheriff LaPinto, where are you? You're going to speak in just a second, but we were just visiting with one another. His crime reduction rates are also amazing. But as you know, as of today, we have had 120 murders in the city year to date. But compare that to 188 that were at this time last year. That is 68 people who are living today, that may not have been with us today if it hadn't been for the incredible work of the NOPD, the incredible work of the partners that we have, the partnership with the state police, the partnership with our Orleans Parish, our JP, our partnership with the district attorney, our partnership with the community, from Pastor Jacques Williams, who's deeply involved in the community, with our city council and so forth. But I also want to bring forward, because we have also gotten into custody the people who are responsible for the other double homicide that occurred within the last 3 weeks. So that was the one on Darrell Lane. I'm now going to turn the podium, though, over to Chief Lebrano and Lieutenant Waldron, I think. Is it Lieutenant Waldron? Lieutenant Waldron, he's in charge of our homicide investigation. He's going to give you a little bit more detail for you. So, Lieutenant, please come forward.
Good afternoon. I'm going to speak about 2 cases that we've recently had clearances on. The first we'll talk about was a double murder from this past Saturday afternoon, which took place in the 6700 block of Darrell Lane. That case was investigated by Detective Tiani Marshall, and through the hard work of our violent offender warrant squad and the U.S. Marshals, yesterday we were able to arrest Cornelius Tillman and Darius Fairley. Both of them were located in Orleans Parish and have been booked with 2 counts of second-degree murder. In reference to the 9x second line shooting, which occurred a few Sundays ago, this morning, introduce Detective James Fife, who's a lead detective on that case, who's worked tirelessly for the last 2.5 weeks with our partners, both on the federal and state level, along with our local partners here as well. we were able to execute 3 search warrants with the assistance of the Jefferson Parish SWAT team this morning. We were able to take into custody one Curtis Gray. Curtis is 19 years old. He's a resident of Jefferson Parish. He has been booked into the Jefferson Parish Correctional Center as a fugitive, but will be soon transferred to the Orleans Parish custody, and he will be booked with 2 counts of second-degree murder. We want to thank again, we had our FBI, ATF, Louisiana State Police, Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office, and within our homicide division and our VCAT unit, were very instrumental in this putting together the information that we got from the community. And I want to thank the community for coming forward. What we do up here is we talk a lot about the community, but I can tell you that in this case, the community did come forward. They came forward through Crimestoppers, they came forward through tips, and they really gave us some great information, and I want to thank them for that. Without the community, we would not have been able to solve this case in many cases like this. So it's more than just talk from this podium, it's action, and that action led us to be able to subsequently close this case with an arrest. So I want to congratulate both detectives on great work. They do great work every day. It's not every day that their work gets mentioned at this podium, but it should. They do great work every day, day in and day out, and it's work that is impactful. So I just want to thank you all. And
Okay, and so now we're going to ask our partner, our wonderful sheriff next door, Sheriff Lapinto, if you would come forward, please.
Thank you, Superintendent. This morning, we were asked by investigators to execute a search warrant at a location 5800 block of Walnut Creek. During that search warrant, we were able to have the mother and Mr. Gray step out. He was arrested without incident. As he said, he's been booked in Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office jail right now and will be transferred to Orleans Parish in due time.
Well, thank you, Sheriff. I do appreciate that. And then, as well, our district attorney, if you wouldn't mind coming forward, Mr. Williams.
Chief.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have come so far in the city of New Orleans in terms of dealing with violent crime and crimes in all categories. We've come further and had more success than any other parish, any other city in terms of driving these crime numbers down and doing it faster. And we cannot backslide. I want to thank these hardworking detectives behind me because they have been relentless in this full court press since these crimes occurred. And like you just heard Andrew say, they can't do it without the community. That's where those tips and leads come from. I remember talking after the second line shooting and saying, you know, hold your thoughts and prayers. We need tips and leads. And I want to thank this community for listening to that and responding to that, because at the end of the day, this is us against the shooters. There is nobody in this community who should think that aiding and abetting someone who wants to wreak terror on our community should be supported. And I want to say, you know, if we find any evidence that anybody did aid and abet, and let me stop using these big legal words, bite of food, a ride in a car, that is a crime. And you're on the wrong side of the law. And you're going to take an even longer ride to Angola with them when they're caught. It's obvious that this team is on it and they are not letting up. And I can't thank this team enough for the work that you all are doing. They're working multiple cases at a time, and they're building strong cases that will stand up in court to an Orleans Parish jury to make sure that people are held accountable for good. Thank you, Chief.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And then I would like to, our council member who is always here to, in partnership, as well as other council, but our council member Green, he's always here to speak on behalf of the other council and the community, and thank you, council member Green.
Thank you, Chief Kirkpatrick, and I'm so pleased to be here in the room today with the law enforcement community, which is doing so much to enhance the quality of life in our community by helping to keep our citizens safer. You've heard today just the mention of certain agencies that are working together, but I want to let you know that there is a local, state, and federal, regional effort that is going into place to keep our citizens safer. I want to thank the New Orleans Police Department, the members of the New Orleans Police Department, and the homicide team, the investigation team that is behind me now. That is a difficult job, and you don't see them in the forefront often, but behind the scenes, great work is being done, and where an arrest is possible, an arrest is made. The bottom line is that office is working strongly and has to work with our citizens. That's why we've emphasized today citizen cooperation. A homicide investigation team needs the support of our community. And you can be assured that if you have information that you want to share with the police department, with Crimestoppers, that information is going to be held in a confidential manner and that you're going to be doing a good thing for the citizens of the city of New Orleans to help keep us safer. I do want to say that as a council member, I can say some things that I think that our officials can't say, and I want to say this to those who would commit crimes in the city of New Orleans. Find something else to do. There have never been as many job opportunities in the city of New Orleans. The New Orleans City Council has funded numerous programs, numerous assistance agencies, victims and witness assistance agencies, but also jobs. There are many jobs available in the city of New Orleans. We've even gone to the point where some jobs, the box is banned. If you've been convicted of a crime in the past, that doesn't necessarily say that you won't get that job. For goodness sake, find something else to do. There has never been this much opportunity in our city, but also I'll tell you that you see behind me a collection of individuals who are committed to justice for those who are victimized and committed to working with those who want to do things to enhance this city's viability and its quality of life. There is assistance for those who have been put in positions where they may feel uncomfortable. You can walk into any police district and there's a social worker there and there are some good people there. Just walk in and say, I need help, before you decide that you're going to go out and commit the types of crimes that we're seeing where you're being investigated and incarcerated. And also to our citizens, we are moving in the right direction with your help. The city of New Orleans has one of the greatest decreases in violent crime in terms of percentage in the nation in those 4 areas that we've been identifying so often. And it's because of your help. We are moving in the right direction with those individuals who are behind me now, with the agencies that are represented, and with the cooperation that you're seeing across the board, but also with citizens. Those who are inclined to do something wrong, please do something else, because we're never going to stop searching for you. We're never going to stop the work that is necessary to get you out of society so that the people who want to enjoy themselves and take advantage of the resources that we have in this great city, so that they can enjoy themselves and move forward. But again, I want to thank Chief Kirkpatrick. I want to thank the Homicide Unit. I want to thank Louisiana State Police is here with us, the District Attorney's Office, and the law enforcement communities on a local, state, and federal level. We are making a positive difference in our city, and I look forward to working as a city councilman to do whatever I can to help us to continue moving in that positive direction. Thank you to all of you for the work that you do. It makes a great difference in our city.
Oh, thank you, Councilmember Green. Appreciate it. Now from the community, one of our greatest partners have joined us, and this is Pastor Jacques Williams, and so from the voice of the community as well, if you'll share.
Good afternoon. Again, I like to start 29, Proverbs 29:2 says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, and when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. I thank God that we have righteous leadership in this city. Whether or not they go around championing the God that they serve, I know that Chief Ann Kirkpatrick, I know that D.A. Jason Williams, I know that Mayor LaToya Cantrell, and I know that many on our police department are believers. I know that Councilman Eugene Green, he's a believer as well. And so since those righteous positions are filled with righteous people, we are seeing a city that's being made safer. The one thing that I want everyone to know is this, though: whenever the wicked commit their acts, people mourn. As Chief said earlier, a young lady by the name of Kawana Kohler, the mother and the sister of those 2 victims on the Almanasta Bridge, she has been in torment since this occurrence took place. But I'm glad to say today, which is her birthday, that she rejoiced because the righteous prevailed. She, along with our communities, they're starting to understand and realize that it's imperative that when something like this occurs, that we have to get this pertinent information to law enforcement and allow the police to do their jobs, communities, people out there, pastors as well. It's imperative that we get our people to understand that we have a trustworthy system from the police department to the judges to our DAs, our council persons, our mayor. Everyone is working in collaboration with one another to produce these fantabulous results that we're seeing. And so, listen, I want to thank you all again for everything that you do, because I've wholeheartedly bought into what's being produced, because I see the results on a weekly, daily, and moment-by-moment basis. And as a result, New Orleans is a much better place to live in. Let's continue to do our part, people out there. Whenever you see something, say something so that they can do something and we can live in a better environment in our communities. God bless you all.
Great. And so that's a great way to wrap up, because we're going to ask Darlene Costanza to come to the podium from Crimestoppers to tell you how you can say something. So go ahead, Darlene.
Thank you, Chief. And I do also want to echo the fact that what you don't know out there when you're sitting here saying, should I give a tip? Many times, these wonderful officers, these detectives, these team members are already calling me saying, have we gotten anything? What do you know? I mean, they are so proactive in their approach to wanting to solve crime. It's truly amazing. And so for you, when you're out there giving the information, and we're so thankful that you came forward in these cases, you can see you're making a difference. You're making a difference in better quality of life in the city. You're making a difference in the family. God bless the mom. That was her birthday. I get to talk to those victims too, and I can tell you, it means the world when the detectives are able to tell them, we solved your case. So we're here today again to remind everybody, we're part of the team. You're part of our team. And that team could be through Crimestoppers. We're going to keep you anonymous. You don't have to testify. You give the information through an app, Safe School, Crimestoppers, Stay It Here app. You call the hotline, 822-1111, or you send it through the Crimestoppers GNO website. Either way, you're going to be anonymous. Yes, you can earn a cash reward, but more importantly, and we are seeing this nationwide, it's not necessarily the rewards. It's being part of the solution. So thank you for being part of the solution. God bless you all, and thank you all for being part of this team. Thank you.
So before we turn it over to questions, I do want to, again, just personally thank this group of detectives here. You know, we always roll out the white shirts. We always do. But it is really the work of boots on the ground. Then you're getting to see them, and I wanted you to see them. And so I said, I'm sorry, you're rolling out in front of the cameras, and because they are the ones, and there's a whole team of homicide detectives behind you. But for each and every time, I'm proud of you. And you are going to be rolled out in front of those cameras, okay? So we'll also make our detectives available to you after we're done here. So you want to have questions if you have any.
We'll start over with DSU.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the conversation that you had with the victim's mom?
Oh, just right before I came. Yes, I told her that I was about to do a news release, and I wanted her to know that. But that I wanted to extend again that we were sorry, but I wanted to hear from her as well how she was. And she was grateful. And like Darlene said, and all of us, when victims know that the responsible party has been captured, it means everything to them. And she's a lovely lady. And I'm sorry for the event, but I was pleased to be able to tell her. We brought some justice so far to her.
WWL.
Are y'all looking for any more suspects, or was these the final suspects that y'all had for both of these cases?
You know, I didn't quite hear that, but you might have heard the question.
So we don't believe there's any other suspects who actively participated in the crimes. We do believe we have everyone in custody. However, the investigation is still ongoing with regards to anything else. But we do believe we have the shooters in custody.
GNO.
The two victims in the second line shooting, were they innocent bystanders or were they intended targets? And then how you all tracked that suspect to Walnut Creek. Can you all just share maybe a piece of evidence that allowed you all to get to Walnut Creek?
So we'll say that the two victims who were deceased on the bridge, we do believe at this point that they were the intended targets. And I'll just say it was great great investigatory effort, fueled by tips from the community that led us to where we went this morning. He was arrested at his mother's apartment.
Lola.com, Gabby, I didn't forget you.
Hi, also for Lieutenant Waldron. My question is on the same kind of topic, which is we're hearing that the violence specifically at the 9 times second line was potentially linked to gang rivalry between Westvigo and Marrero. I don't know if the sheriff also might want to pitch in there, but can you speak to that rivalry? Is that something that applied here, or is applying in many cases that sort of gang affiliation rivalry?
I don't want to really speak to the affiliation or the gang. I'm not, I defer to the sheriff for that. But we do know that the perpetrator and the decedents in this case were familiar with each other.
Thank you.
Foxy?
Yeah, this is one that's probably for the lieutenant as well. You talked a lot about evidence and tips leading to these arrests. Can you walk us through the investigatory process? You get the tip, and then it leads you to a certain location, a certain piece of evidence. Walk us through the process a little bit more of how you took that evidence and turned it into an arrest.
Yeah, so anytime we get information, we obviously have to corroborate it, and we corroborate it through multiple different ways. As Ms. Costanza said earlier, I always tell the public, if you think you have anything, please give it to us, because we basically try to put together a puzzle without a picture. And if you have a puzzle piece, you might have the piece that we're looking for. So in this case, we got multiple sources of information, and this will all come out later on, so I don't want to get into the specifics of it. But it led to some significant evidence, some significant physical evidence that from the scene, and that has some strong connections. And I'll let the court process play out through the investigation. But this was a very good case and very good detective work by both detectives here and every other detective in the unit that helped along the way.
Thank you all for coming out. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.